We should only protect things that are more beneficial than harmful. I think a lot of things we ban or legislate around, we do so because it causes harm to others. Hate speech is strongly connected to negative mental health outcomes like depression or anxiety. Obviously, being bullied leads to these kinds of outcomes.
My body, my choice. That's your guys' favorite thing. So you want to argue now it's actually your body, our choice, what you get to say with it, which is just a complete hypocritical stance for the left, in my opinion.
Right. I think
And so
everyone understands that my body, my choice doesn't mean you can use your body to cause harm to others, right? Like, we don't say that we should be able to punch someone in the face because that's just an expression of our bodily autonomy, right? Like, we understand that the principle kind of ends at harm.
free speech should include speech that offends us. I think that if speech is only protected when it's polite or non-offensive, then that there's no reason for the amendment at all. There is that's not free speech at that point. And even from like a Catholic perspective, St. Thomas Aquinas talks about heretics need to be argued with, not just like burned at the stake necessarily. We should take their ideas and combat them. Um, and to back that up, 62% of Americans say the current political climate prevents them from expressing their belief. So if that's 62% and only 50% of the country are conservatives, then there's at least some lefties in there, liberals agreeing with that. So it's not just a one side issue. Um, and then Pew Research, 59% of Americans believe people should be allowed to make offensive statements publicly. So the majority of people think this way, but yet um, in practice, it doesn't always seem to go down that way. It seems that people want to continue to try to implement like hate speech laws and stuff like that. Luckily, we haven't fully given in here in America the way that some other countries have. But yeah, I pretty much think that you should own the consequences of what you say, and we shouldn't not let people say things just because it can hurt someone's feelings.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that we should only protect things that are more beneficial than harmful. I think a lot of things we ban or legislate around, we do so because it causes harm to others. Hate speech is strongly connected to negative mental health outcomes like depression or anxiety. Obviously, being bullied leads to these kinds of outcomes. These types of conditions lead to higher rates of suicidality. So there's a causal chain there of hate speech to suicide. And I think that that's something worth trying to prevent personally, right? And I'm not a free speech absolutist at all. So like I'm not like, well, free speech trumps that. I think we should probably protect vulnerable people over some weird right to free speech.
Yeah, I wouldn't say weird. I would say fundamental human right. My body, my choice. That's your guys' favorite thing. So you want to argue now it's actually your body, our choice, what you get to say with it, which is just a complete hypocritical stance for the left, in my opinion. But I would say that the truth becomes clearer when error is exposed, to quote Aquinas.
Right. I think
And so
everyone understands that my body, my choice doesn't mean you can use your body to cause harm to others, right? Like, we don't say that we should be able to punch someone in the face because that's just an expression of our bodily autonomy, right? Like, we understand that the principle kind of ends at harm.
yeah, and I would say that sticks and stones may break my bones. We've all learned this since we were little kids. And I would argue that much like with something like alcohol, alcohol doesn't make you beat your wife. You are already a wife beater, and then you drank, and it exposed what was already within you. If somebody says you're ugly, and then you go and kill yourself, you already had some mental issues. It doesn't
Yeah,
create them out of
that's
nothing.
that's just a large misunderstanding of psychology, I would say. But yeah, no, I would think personally, just for me, I think the principle is simple. I think that obviously bullying, hate speech is bullying. Bullying leads to suicide. We should try to prevent that. I think that that means more than free speech. That would be my opinion.
And I would say hate speech is not bullying. Bullying is repeated. So if you at which point we're or going into
That's just
harassment.
semantic. I think bullying is any action in which causes someone purposeful harm.
I mean, it's not semantic. It's in the law. Like it is. It has to be more than once to be qualified as bullying. So if I just like, hey, you're ugly, and never talk to that person again, it's not bullying. If I'm like, hey, you're ugly, and then tomorrow I'm like, hey, you're ugly, and then the next day,
Yeah,
now it's bullying because it's repeated.
I don't know. I one, just don't know if that's true. And two, just
I
cement,
do because I
not even making a legal
expose
claim.
myself. I am an alleged
Yeah.
bully on my permanent school record
Yeah.
because
So I'm not making a legal claim. I'm just making a moral claim of bullying
sure,
is when you purposefully cause harm to somebody else. That leads to higher rates of suicide. I think we should try to prevent that.
sure, but the problem is purposeful. You're
Yes.
assuming intent,
Yes.
which may not exist. We're just talking about words that are offensive, so it may
Yes.
not be
If you're
the
using a
the
word
intent.
and you know it's offensive and you're using it to someone who you know might be offended, then it's purposeful. That's intent. You do
Yes,
not.
but what if who gets to decide? So every word can be offensive then. And all words can I can just say, for instance, calling me uh, a republic or using the term black. Maybe I feel like black is offensive.
Sure, I
Now
would
we
say
can't
any
use the
words in
term.
which you could tie to historical context of harm or statistical outcomes of harm.
Okay, so not just if it offends somebody.
No.
So then we make
Yeah, like I would
another
ban, I'm fine
condition.
banning the N-word, I'm fine banning racial slurs, I'm fine banning
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
misogynistic terms.
Banning the N word. So even for our people.
I'm fine banning like the hard R racial slur
So not for our people then, I guess.
for anyone to say
No,
it.
I mean like
Anyone should say it.
what's up, my band?
I don't think that's a racial slur.
What if a white person says, "What's up, my"?
Well, yeah, well then I mean I think that that's shouldn't be banned, but I think that that's definitely distasteful.